Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bullish or Bearish. I'm Angela Chu and with Success Options Group, and I'm here again with my brother Tony. And today we're going to go over another hot topic that's been really interesting in the news.
So it's one that everybody has seen or heard about, no matter which social media platform you're using, but it's the idea of Elon Musk and him putting in an offer for Twitter, right? So depending on where you are in the storyline, there's going to be more coming in the next couple of months as they go through. Actually, now it's a law, it's a court case, right? But it really comes down to this simple point is Elon Musk put in an offer for Twitter. And this is a good thing, right, for Twitter, because no matter what you think about Elon Musk, he's a disruptor innovator. He's done SpaceX, he's done Tesla. He, was the precursor to PayPal, right? And Hyperloop and SolarCity. All these things that I'm mentioning are inventions, or it's things where he's driven increased value in that company.
Okay, so you talk about Elon Musk and his driving, force, behind all these things and increasing value. But we also have to recognize that one of the big things that's kind of like suspicious about him wanting to buy Twitter and owning Twitter is Twitter actually has, things like censorship and like preventing people from using their platform as a free way to like market things or a free way to, adjust people's views. So it's kind of like if he gets to be the sole owner of Twitter, that's like China and its censorship. He can decide what people can post, what people can't post, and he can do whatever he wants. I mean, he's already bad enough that anytime he makes a comment, like stocks go up and down, like market prices go up and down every time he opens his mouth. If he has Twitter behind him to like make it even more, just what kind of impact can he have with, in a sense, manipulating things to go his way?
So I hear that. So like, I think some people call him a meme king, right? So he's one of those persons that drives clicks or drives whatever interaction by what he posts on social media. And that really gets at the topic of this is that when you think of the social media, just the whole broad spectrum of different programs, you have Facebook, YouTube. So if you look at the rankings currently, right, and this is not official rankings, like Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, WeChat, TikTok, Messenger, right, Pinterest, and then Twitter is near the end of this spectrum, right? And it's been around for a long time. So the fact, I won't get into the idea that everybody has censorship, right? And there's already censorship there, right? And there's already algorithms that sway people one way or the other based off of who's running it. But just simply from the fact of like for investors and stockholders, Twitter's at the far end of the lower end of the spectrum. So the idea of Elon coming in and taking it and buying it and introducing like innovation would rise, where it sits in the spectrum. So Twitter would be more popular, right? Like TikTok has been eating its lunch recently, right? And it's getting more and more popular. And people like Twitter is like, yeah. Right. So that's one of those big benefits coming out of this.
So you talk about that being like a big benefit, but there's also a lot of questions of why he started trying to back out of the deal, because that's the whole reason why he's going to a court case. It's like suddenly he doesn't want to buy it anymore. And there's a lot of issues about, okay, now what's going on with that? Because they talk about the reasoning behind it is that one, what kind of profit, because he's not actually willing to buy it all by himself. He's getting stuff from banks in order to buy it, like for the purchase price. And he's backing out. Well, how is he going to actually create profit from Twitter if he's getting rid of all the things that are supposedly the things that you can profit from? Like no like actual advertising. Advertisements is how Facebook, and like all these other social media platforms like try to maintain profitability.
No, I mean, you hit upon a big topic. And Elon Musk is an activist investor in this. And as like, when we talk about financial markets and like, let's say I'm a shareholder at Twitter, I want my share price to go up. right? And I want them to make money. And the fact, I don't think Twitter makes money right now, right? So you're talking about idea like, well, how is Elon going to make it better? Well, I don't hear any plans coming from Twitter itself. And I admittedly, I haven't delved too deep into their quarterly reports or any kind of their research, right? And that's an important aspect to go into, like whenever you're becoming a shareholder of them, and that's what we talk about in our workshops and our private coaching classes. But Elon has provided plans, right? So, he's talking about bots and he's talking about new features and, open source algorithms, right? And verification of users. And this is things that activist investors do, right? And I don't fault him that he doesn't want to pay for stuff that is if they're messing with the numbers to make it look better. I don't think he should be paying a premium for that, right? So I can see why he pulled back a little, because the numbers don't quite fit, right?
So there are two different aspects that I want to address in what you just said. The first one is what you were talking about, like the reporting and all that stuff and him pulling back. Well, the thing is he was the one who proactively by himself decided that he wanted to make an offer, and then he pulled back. Now, how much of that is him trying to manipulate things so that he can get it at a lower price? Because you notice that when he said that, he was going to do this, Twitter went up. And then as soon as he pulled back, Twitter just kept dropping. He's done things like this before, because like, if you look at his history of doing stuff like this, there was a time when he talked about like Bitcoin, and he was saying, oh, Tesla invested in Bitcoin, Bitcoin goes up. And then he said, oh, his company, Tesla, is going to use Bitcoin, accept it for buying cars, and Bitcoin goes up. And then he says, oh, no, we changed our mind. We're not going to accept Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin goes down. I mean, he does things like this, So how much of his going in and coming out and then go, this whole thing is about trying to like make money by forcing the price lower, Then you talked about his plans. So this is a totally separate thing about just the money. You're talking about his plans for like open sourcing and like getting rid of the bots and then like doing like the human verification. Bots, okay, yes, I'll give you that one. Nobody likes having spam bots, okay? Totally agree. But if you talk about open sourcing, that means transparency, great. But transparency also means that people who actually understand that stuff have an easier time like manipulating it, hacking it, getting private information, which goes back to the human authentication, because people are really big about privacy nowadays. I mean, one of the biggest things about all the social media is like everybody wants to protect their own privacy. So this human authentication may actually drive away people from Twitter because they don't want their privacy invaded.
So I hear you. You're questioning the motives of Elon Musk, and there's fair criticism, right? Because he can make the price swing. I think the biggest response to that is he's not. I'm not sure if he's one of the largest, or he might be the largest shareholder of Twitter stock, right? So he's close to that 10% shareholder. So anything he's doing is impacting his initial investment, right? Whereas you talk about the people on Twitter's board, very little ownership of Twitter stock, right? They're getting paid a salary from the company, but they're not necessarily in it for the long term, in a sense, right? And there's questions on whether Elon Musk is involved in for the long term, but the fact is he has to note, like he has to report whenever he buys or sells the stock, right? Because of his ownership percentage, right? So while his motives can be questionable, and like, why is he doing that at times? He's also one of the largest shareholders, right? So he's impacting his own investments.
Okay, I guess I can see where you're coming from that, but it still doesn't change the fact that Elon Musk is still who he is. And like you said, he's an innovator. He has a big fan following. Okay, honestly, he has fanatics. He has people who follow what he says and just react based on any time he opens his mouth, up or down. Now, this while it's kind of fun to watch and entertaining, you know, one of the things about the censorship for a lot of social media is that it prevents people from using it for like political activities, for like, you know, being activists, or they prevent a lot of things like racial slurs, hate, you know, hate posts or bullying. You know, there's a lot that goes into that kind of thing. And that's why, you know, there are censorship and moderators, you know. It's probably like he talks about having like free speech and being able to say whatever you want, but this is not that easy to like moderate. And like, in a sense, his dream is this big. Is it realistic? Is it even achievable? Like, how are you going to actually make it happen? Like, while fulfilling your thing of free speech, while actually having to like still deal with, you know, you have to admit, people are people, you know, people say BS all the time. You know, they say nasty things to other people. They post terrible things on the internet. I mean, that's one of the biggest, you know, issues that they talk about, you know, when they're talking about young people, especially on the internet and social media, is how these things can impact them and their lives. So like, what can he do? Like, is he the one that we want to trust to like actually manage all of that kind of thing, you know? I don't know.
No, it's definitely a good topic for debate. I mean, so like, you know, the fact is, who thought that you could land rockets, right? You can reuse rocket boosters or like a mainstream electrical car. But I mean, this is all what we're talking about. This is what's going back and forth on social media. And it really, you have to make your own assessment on whether you want to invest in social media companies. What is the investment? And like, what are the risks of those kind of like the good and bad of it, right? So make sure you hit the like, hit the subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Put some comments down on what your thoughts are on this whole social media debate, Twitter, Elon Musk. And make sure you sign up for a workshop or a private class if you want to get more in depth into like how to just improve your investment gains. So with that, we'll see you next time.